Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hi, I'm Lorraine Williams, and I'm here at the Jamaica Land We Love Gala. Wait, yes. Sorry, do it again. Hi, I'm here at the Jamaica We Land Love. One last time. I can't get that Land We Love Gala. Let's go. Okay. Hi, I'm here at the Jamaica We Land. Okay, one last time. Hi, I'm here at the Jamaica Land We Love Gala celebrating Jamaica 50th. I'm here with Nick Davis from CBC. How are you, Nick?
I'm well, thank you.
And what exactly do you do at CBC?
I'm the manager of program development for CBC Radio, so my gig basically is to make sure I help and sustain the ongoing development of all the local programs, radio programs right across the country.
And how long have you been at CBC?
I've been at CBC since 1997, so it put me there for quite a long time. it's going on my 15th year at CBC Radio.
And what's involved in those operations?
Well, for me, the big thing is trying to figure out how we can make our radio programs better. That's what my job is right now, and I quite enjoy my job. I enjoy what I do. It also involves a lot of traveling, going across the country, and making sure the local shows are performing as best as they can.
And some of those shows are they're involving cultural, celebrating cultural activities like Jamaica 50.
Well, of course. I mean, because I'm involved with the local shows here in Toronto, and the local shows in Montreal are also doing some of that, as well as some of the shows in Calgary. So yeah, I mean, all we can do is suggest and give them things that we think they should be looking at. Of course, the big thing for us is cultural diversity. A good big thing for us is range of opinion. A good thing of us, of course, is diversity right across the country. Because our goal is to have all our local shows sound like the communities in which they live in and exist in.
So you have a lot of experience with community and getting the cultural radios. I'm sorry, the cultural information out to the listeners.
Oh yeah, well of course. I mean, I worked in community radio for 15 years before I came to CBC at CHRY. Also worked at Chin Radio in Toronto, which we did a lot of that work as well, multicultural work. And also, well, the big thing for me is that I just want to work in an environment where I know that what I'm doing and what we're doing reflects the city and the places in which we live. And I think without getting cultural representation on the radio, you can't really do that.
Absolutely. And what does Jamaica 50 mean to you?
It means a big deal to me. I was born in Jamaica, Kingston 11. A long time ago, and I came to Canada as a little boy, but I've always maintained my roots and my connections to Jamaica. You know, and my family still has close ties to Jamaica. My youngest brother, my oldest brother, moved back to Jamaica to live around 7 or 8 years ago, and so we still have a real strong connection. And to me, it's a really big deal. I mean, that we've been able to sustain ourselves as an independent nation for 50 years, and hopefully it'll continue for a long time. I mean, I wish we could do a lot better economically as a country, but I think it's all starting to come together. And I think if the people who live, the expatriates who live all across the world, put something back into the country's going to be fine.
Now, Jamaicans are the largest Caribbean group that living in Toronto and also across Canada. But what do you think makes us so unique?
I think there's a resilience about Jamaicans that that I like. I know I have it within myself as well. I mean, growing up in the way we grew up in this country, not very well-to-do, very poor, and growing up in there's a strength with Jamaicans, and that I think that somehow we've been able to overcome a lot of things as a country, and as a people, it's filtered down to the people. And I think that's what makes us unique.
And there are a lot of business owners that have claimed Jamaica as their background, and they're very successful. And what do you attribute to that?
I think it's that same thing. There's a real hard work ethic amongst Jamaicans, that a lot of people don't often see. It's like those skits that you used to see on In Living Color where the Jamaicans had 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 jobs. That's a lot of, there's some truth in that, in the sense that Jamaicans work very hard to sustain what they have.
Absolutely. Now, Jamaica has a new prime minister this year. Where do you see the direction of Jamaica going?
Well, hopefully it's in the direction of trying to, work on the economy and try and find a way in which to build the economy and grow the economy. I mean, I think they're on the right track. I mean, I think with what they've done with tourism has been exceptional. I think they got to find a way to do the same thing with business. That's all.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Enjoy the evening.
I will. Take care.
Hi, I'm here at the 9th Annual Barbados Charity Ball event, and I'm here with Senator Don Meredith. Nice to have you, Senator.
It's my pleasure to be here tonight.
2012, and I'm here with one of the organizers, Stephen Weir. Nice to have you, Stephen.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that you're here. This is a really special night.
And how long have you been, actually, what is your title of the organization?
I have a lot of titles, but I look after media relations and public relations, and I've been with the festival for, well, since 1999, and so I guess I've been there about the longest. So I do a lot of other things, but public relations is probably number one job.
Well, it's a beautiful event. I can tell a lot of work went in it. How long does it take to prepare this?
Well, this particular event has a large committee, and we work very closely with Scotiabank's team of experts. It's about 3 months of planning and about 12 months of thinking about it. So we think about it a lot, and then it's about 3 months out that we really step it up.
And how long is the parade? Like, how long is the event from the first day?
Well, we really say it's about 3 months. 3 weeks. But we do have an exhibit at the ROM called Emancipation, which tracks the emancipation movement in Trinidad and Jamaica, and that exhibit's on till February. But basically, the festival is right around the turn of the month. So we try to have the parade as close as possible to August 1st. That marks the emancipation in Trinidad of August the 1st, I think 1815, but might have the date wrong, but that's what we try to do. And that's also the Simcoe holiday in Canada. So there's a lot of symbolism, but that's when we try. That's our week, is that long weekend.
And when is the big parade? What day is going to be held on?
It's going to be on August the 4th, and that's a little later than normally is, but that's how it is.
And how many visitors are you expecting?
We don't know. The thing with Carnival is that we have diehards from around the world. You can't get a flight out of the Caribbean. We know who's coming. But what makes the difference in the numbers? And we say 1 million, 1.2 million people. What makes the difference is non-Carnival reasons. It's the weather. It's the price of gas. It's the value of the Canadian currency. And in the case of Americans, it's how many Americans have passports. And in recent years, we've had some drop-off with our traditional visitor from the U.S. simply because of the lack of documentation. So we've actually been taking out ads in the U.S. saying, get your passport, come to Canada. So those are the factors. I wish it was some other reason, but it really gets down to price and weather.
And what I understand too is it's growing. We don't know the numbers right now, but from last year.
Yeah, it's one way that we know it's growing is we have the mass camps, and right now the mass camps have been hammered in a good way. We have some of the camps are getting 2,500, 2,800 people wanting to play mass, and as of this morning, we have 12,000 people who have bought costumes and will be playing mass. The same time last year, we were 10,000. So that's a huge increase. Then we've got some of the pan orchestras have more members too. So the actual parade route is going to be jammed. So what we've done is actually made the parade route a little bit longer to accommodate all these extra people that are coming in. But some of our bands are so huge that it takes them an hour just to go by the judging stand. So we know we have a lot more people that are playing mass, and we see a lot of interest. And even if it isn't just our event, everything in Toronto is full, right? Almost everything's a success. So we're really expecting good things, and the weather's been good. So we're looking forward to it.
So you said there's a lot of the bands. There's an increase in bands. What about the floats?
Well, yeah, it's the bands themselves that are growing, and each band requires I don't know exactly what the ratio is, but let's say one float for every 400 or 500 people. So some of the mass bands are having 5, 6, 7 floats. We have some people showing up. You never know who's going to show up. You watch the float, but I've been talking to Snoop Dogg, although he's now called Snoop Lion. So he wants to be on one of the floats, and we've got, I'm going to say his name wrong, but Popcan wants to be on one of the floats. And so what we're trying to do is get Snoop Dogg, Snoop Lion with Popcorn. So.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so that'll be really good. And then Jamal McGlure, who's with the Raptors, he usually brings some big names, and so you always want to watch his floats. And Louis Saldana usually hires Michelle Montana. We know Destra's in town, so I'll be watching the floats to see if she shows up. So you can play mass or you can sit and watch, because there's anybody who's anybody's going to be here in Toronto.
And right now, I know that there's a lot of talk with the violence that's happening in the city and stuff. Is there any precautions that you're going to be looking at to take?
Well, I think everybody should be safe, but I think that I've been with the festival a long time. We get a bad reputation that is not deserved. We really haven't had acts of violence. Last year there was a shooting, but it was the police who shot somebody. So I'm not sure if that's the same. So oftentimes we get criticized, but it isn't us. But we'll live with that. I think you should come with a friendliness, a spirit, and friendship, and we always say make sure you drink lots of water. But I really don't think anyone has anything to worry about. I played Mass now for 14 years, and life's great. So.
I'm Lorraine Williams. I'm here with Caribbean Headline News, and I have the privilege of sitting here at 23 Division with Deputy Chief Peter Slowly. Nice to have you, Peter.
Thank you for your interest in interviewing me. Thank you.
Thank you. One of the we have so much to talk about, actually, but one of the things I want to talk about is this summer. Of course, we've had a lot of interesting things that have happened in our city with gun violence and youth, and summer initiative programs that you guys are that you and the mayor and your task force are talking about. Can you start us off with that, please?
Well, this year obviously we've had an increase in gun-related violence. Clearly, it's a very troubling trend,
yeah.
And I think everybody in the city is invested in the issue. From whatever side of the issue you come from, we want to get to the same place, which is a safer city,
right.
And a reduction specifically in gun violence.
Okay.
So we've put together on our part, the Toronto Police have put together over the course of the year several programs that are dealing with prevention of gun violence, and certainly the interdiction of those who are committing gun violence. The most recent one, and certainly the largest one,
Right.
Is what we call our Project Summer Safety. It started off in the 2 weeks prior to the long weekend of August.
Okay.
We increased our staffing around the major events of the long weekend, which included the Caribbean Carnival.
Right.
And we've now continued it into the last phase, which started at the beginning of last week, which is an increase in staffing right across our city to provide more officers to be more available for the type of prevention and enforcement pieces that we think will help to suppress the violence. And we're working with a number of community partners on other pieces that are joint service delivery focus to help the kids or the causes of the violence.
Well, see, that's another question. So we've had quite a rash of violence recently, one being at the mall, Eaton Centre, in the heart of downtown Toronto, as well as out in Scarborough at a family barbecue and picnic in the nighttime, I believe, and actually 2 lives were lost. And as a matter of fact, they're saying, 2005 was one of the worst years on record, and this year we've already surpassed that. What's your take on that? What's the reason? What's happening here?
First of all,
with our youth?
any life lost or anybody victimized by a shooting, and by victimized I mean, the person who's hit with a bullet,
Yes.
the family of that person, the community where that family resides, are all victims, directly or indirectly, of that violence. Even when a person isn't hit by a bullet, somebody fires off a bullet up in the air and it lands on somebody.